are now listening to The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys. The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys is a John Mitchell story and is brought to you by Cine Downloads. Narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Previously on the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys...
What the hell happened in there? How could you be defeated?
They sent us on a suicide mission.
I have returned from the void. I will lead you all against the temple, and we together shall defeat their attacks.
And now the next part of the story. Episode 19. The temple doors open, and the battered ragtag temple recruits crash through them. The noise, moans and clattering as they stumble into furniture fills the temple hall. Next to arrive are the shopping trolleys, smashing into door frames and tables with the occupants of the trolleys loudly complaining every time they bang into something. Cheng Fu is in the canteen wondering how he can sit down with no chairs allowed when he hears the commotion from the hall. He rushes out to see what is happening and is shocked by the sight that greets him. The walking wounded slump down into the sofas and chairs in the hall. They groan and hold their injuries. The shopping trolleys are abandoned in the middle of the hall, complete with the complaining occupants still in them, while the people who are pushing them collapse to catch their breath back. Cheng has never seen such carnage visited upon a temple mission before. His mind races as panic sets in. Cock walks in behind the last of the injured recruits. He looks downcast, but sees Cheng and walks over to where he is standing.
What has happened, Cock? This looks like a momentous defeat.
Cock looks around at the grim sight in the hall, and then back to Cheng.
Yes, Master. It's the worst defeat I've ever seen. We were completely inadequate. We barely made it out with our lives.
This is extremely distressing. Tell me what happened.
It was a trap, Master. They laid bait and waited for us to walk into their snare, and we, like fools, did exactly that.
Do not be hard on yourself, Cock. A defeat, if we successfully learn the lessons from it, becomes a victory with hindsight. So tell me about this trap. How could they have known we were coming? No one in their right minds would align themselves with demon scum intent on destroying humanity.
The three exhausted and blooded Goths are eavesdropping and look at each other guiltily. Cock continues.
Master, they may have been tempted with great riches and sex with beautiful women.
The three Goths look at each other with shock and anger. They mouth to each other that they never got offered great things like that. They were told to do as ordered or be decapitated.
Well, we may have spies here in this temple. And also it is not good for us to enter the demon zone with great fanfare and crowds. That first time was for show, but now we enter the zone in secrecy. Who knows who was watching and reporting as our troops entered?
Agreed, Master. Also, we need to have proper soldiers brought in over from China. These recruits are useless. They ran away at the first sign of trouble. They dropped their weapons and fled. The demons smashed these cowards to pieces.
That is regrettable news. We have to train them harder, Cock. They're new and have been thrown in against insurmountable odds. We have been banned from bringing over real soldiers from China. We have to use these underachievers, even if it takes many defeats to turn them into first-class warriors.
Cock shakes his head at this. Cheng continues.
Were they completely useless? Surely they had something positive to give. What about the scouts of the radios? How did they do?
Cock looks up with angry eyes.
They were the worst of the lot. 2 got lost and decided to go home, and the last one, that DJ prick, turned his radio off.
Dubmaster Swift is in earshot and hears this. He's not very happy about that comment.
Hey man, don't call me a prick! I had to take some important phone calls. I couldn't concentrate on them. If I was talking to you on the radio, that would just have been rude.
Rude? Rude is when you turn your radio off, leaving us to get our asses kicked all over the floor.
Whoa. Valentino, don't blame me for this disaster. I told you at the beginning that I didn't want to go on this Boy Scout mission. I wanted to stay here and watch TV or go to the pub next door and shoot some pool. But you were all, oh no, Swift, we're paying your wages, you have to come with us.
So you didn't do your job because I asked you to do your job?
Yeah, that's right. I live in the real world. What kind of world do you live in?
I live in the real world, you random fantasist. People have been hurt for no other reason than you're a complete lunatic.
Cock raves.
Listen to me, pal. As soon as I get my residency in the top European nightclub with sexy catwalk models dancing in the VIP area, you and me are toast, okay?
Look, you utter nut job. Sit down before I break your face.
Swift gives him a look of disgust and walks over to a sofa and sits next down to a guy who has a bleeding cut on his head. Swift sees the blood and speaks to the man.
Dude, don't get blood on my shirt. This is Vivian Westwood.
Oh, sorry, didn't realise.
Replies the heavily bleeding man. Cock turns back to Cheng to continue his conversation when he notices that the reporter was filming everything on his phone.
Hey, you toilet guy. Put that phone away before I ram it in your face.
The reporter is stunned at this and quickly puts his phone in his pocket.
And where were you when the fighting started? I noticed that you have no injuries or blood on you.
I couldn't take part as I had to look for my contact lens. It dropped out of my eye just before the battle started.
But you wear spectacles.
Yes, that is true, but I also wear contact lenses too, as this gives me double vision. I mean, it makes my vision doubly good.
So you weren't just hiding away like a coward then, filming things on your phone like a prick?
No, of course not. I would never do that.
Implores the reporter. Cheng listens and strokes his beard. Cock turns around and sees the 3 Goths. All have many cuts and bruises on their heads.
You 3 cretins! Why the hell did you spend the entire fight hitting each other with your shovels and not the demons? What kind of idiots are you?
Ralph speaks out.
I wanted to fight the demons, but Floyd hit me around the head with his shovel, so I had to retaliate or he might do it again.
Floyd isn't happy to hear this and responds,
No, I didn't. Ralph hit Melvin with his shovel, so I hit Ralph to protect him.
Yeah? So I hit Floyd with my shovel.
That's Melvin.
So you were hitting me because I hit Ralph who hit you?
No. I hit you because Ralph hit me and he hit you.
But I hit you because he hit you.
And I hit you because he tried to hit me, but hit you instead.
That's Ralph.
No, I didn't. Why are you lying?
No, you're lying.
Melvin throws a punch at Ralph, who punches Floyd, who punches Melvin, who punches Floyd, who punches Ralph, who punches Ralph. Melvin punches himself. Cheng watches all this and turns to Cock.
I understand now why this defeat must have happened.
Cock feels vindicated by this.
Now, there must be something positive to discuss. What about the enchantment on the vessel? Did you capture a demon?
Master, the enchanted vessel didn't work.
Didn't work? You said the correct incantation though, right?
Of course I said the correct incantation. The vessel didn't work. There must have been something wrong with the enchantment.
Ying has been in the background trying to tend to the wounded recruits. She hears what Cock said and is instantly affronted. She storms over to Cock. Cock takes out the remnants of the vessel and hands them over to Cheng for security. Ying arrives. She looks extremely angry.
That vessel was enchanted properly. I spent days working on it. How dare you blame me?
I'm not blaming you, but you haven't slept for days. Maybe you made a mistake.
There was no mistake. I didn't sleep for days as I worked so hard to get this right. The enchantment was perfect. It was probably you who couldn't speak properly and the incantation came out wrong.
Couldn't speak properly? My incantation was faultless.
Cheng holds up his hand to silence them both. He fingers the remnants of the vessel for a second or two before replying.
I can see from these pieces that the enchantment was indeed perfect.
Thank you.
exclaims Ying with relief.
Also, I don't doubt for a second your ability to verbalize the incantation correctly, Cock.
Cock nods appreciatively.
So this begs the question of what happened. Did you notice anything unusual when you operated the vessel?
Cock thinks hard for a moment before he remembers something important.
Yes, I did. Whenever I tried to banish the demon into a vessel, a sigil on his body glowed with brilliant light.
A sigil? Interesting.
Cheng strokes his beard as he thinks.
How did the demons fight? What magic did they use?
They didn't use any magic, Master. They only used their fists and other limbs.
No super strength or time delays?
No.
No teleportation or transmogrifications?
No, Master. Nothing like that at all. All they used was brute force.
This is very unusual. First the sigil, and then no magic. I wonder what this means.
Couldn't you check your books in the repository, Master? Surely something like this would be written in there somewhere.
Yes, indeed the information would very likely be in those books. But unfortunately, those books are in a shipping container on their way back to China as we speak.
What? Why?
Steve ordered it to be so.
Well, that's just brilliant. How about we go into the media room and use the PCs to go on Google? There must be some information there.
Nope, that won't work either, as the PCs there are too old to use an internet browser. Could you use your mobile telephone device, Cock?
No, I can't, Master. I've used up all the web usage for this month by looking at videos from Phuket, Thailand.
Well, okay. It's not a problem. We can just use the normal telephone to ring the temple headquarters in China and get them to tell us the information we need.
Ah, no, we haven't had telephone lines installed yet. It could be weeks until management has it organised. I can't even use my mobile to ring China. I only have a few minutes left on it for this month. Speaking of which, is there any chance we could get work phones so we could use those instead of our own ones?
I could ask Steve, but you and I both know the answer to that one. Nope, we are going to have to figure out this demon conundrum all by ourselves.
Cock nods in agreement, and Cheng strokes his beard. After much running and clambering, Dhoiufg finally reaches Yertafgryn, who is slowly swinging on a hammock in the shade of burned-out building. Dhoiufg is exhausted and collapses next to the hammock. Yertafgryn looks down at him.
You taken up jogging again, old friend? You really should consider a different animal form, as panda bears don't sweat.
They've come back.
Dhoiufg gasps.
What have? Your fleas?
No. The demons. From the void.
Efuhofcn and Dhoiufg?
Yes. And they're at the edge of the demon zone, building support from the other demons.
This noise shocks Yertafgryn, who falls out of the hammock. He scrambles to his feet and focuses his attention on his panda pal.
By what method did they escape the vortex? And what is their objective here?
I do not know, my friend. I heard a large commotion, so went to take a look, and saw the two of them surrounded by cheering demons. Efuhofcn said he was going to protect us all against the temple of killer tiger monkeys.
What? The temple is here as well? What the hell has been going on?
It seems like they had a battle with the temple and defeated them. Now they want to lead the demons in a war against them, and the demons are running to join his army.
This is unbelievable. Are Pqeddcyg and the others aware of this?
I do not think so. And none of them were there at the time.
We have to tell them, right now. Get your jogging pants on, Panda. We have to move, fast.
Yertafgryn pulls his robe on and rushes out in the sunlight. Dhoiufg catches his breath again and chases after him. Yertafgryn and Dhoiufg soon reach Pqeddcyg, and the other rebel leaders who have been in busy discussion for days about the upcoming march through the city and the proposed route it will take. Some of the leaders want the march to go through the factory areas to gain support from the working people there, and some wanted to go through some parks, as they want to look at birds and trees. This ongoing dispute is interrupted as the two demons arrive. The rebel leaders welcome this interruption as the proceedings were getting overheated. They ask the two demons what is happening and are told about Efuhofcn and Dhoiufg returning from the void. Also, the temple making incursions into the demon zone. The rebel demon leaders are all shocked at this news.
They're out of the void. Damn! I had to throw that fat bastard, Dhoiufg, 20 feet into the vortex. Almost took my back out doing it. And all for what? So they could come back, disrupting our work here. This will not do!
Shouts the rebel.
Come on!
There's uproar as the demons want answers and action to be taken.
Why did those two appear at the same time as the temple? This is too strange.
Are they working together to wreck our plans?
Is this the temple going to attack us?
Let's attack the temple!
No, let's attack Efuhofcn.
Pqeddcyg shouts for order and silences the noise from the others.
Okay, we have two threats to contend with. So first we hit Efuhofcn, now that he's weak. And then we hit the temple and drive them out.
The demons cheer, but Yertafgryn questions this move.
If we start a war against those two threats, then what about the march? We're supposed to be marching next week.
If we don't deal with these threats, then they will stop the march anyway,
replies Pqeddcyg, and the demons shout in support.
Yeah.
Maybe they are here to stop the march by distracting us with fighting. Why else would they both appear a week before the march starts? It all sounds suspicious to me.
The demons go quiet.
Besides, it might be a trap, as Waifu told me that Efuhofcn and Dhoiufg have not taken the Hunter's Sigil, so they still have access to their powers. It could be treacherous to fight them.
The demons are quiet as they think about what has been said. One of them speaks out with an idea.
We could burn our sigils off and get our powers back, and then we could fight them properly.
The demons agree and start clamouring for fire.
Fire!
To burn themselves, but another demon speaks out which stops them.
If we lose our sigils, then the temple will be able to banish us back to hell, and we'll be right back where we started, but with no rights.
The demons agree and shout for no fire.
No fire!
Yertafgryn speaks out again.
You see the trap they have created. They are working with the temple to banish us, so there will be no march if we fight.
But when you got here, you said they are fighting the temple. So, how can they be working with them?
Shouts another demon.
Because it's a trap,
replies Yertafgryn. The demons start debating loudly amongst themselves. Pqeddcyg shouts to silence them again before adding his opinion.
Well, it seems like we don't know what they are doing. But we do know what we are doing. We are organising this march for next week, and it will go ahead. If Efuhofcn is indeed fighting the temple, then we let them get on with it. If they are working together, then we need to be prepared for them to disrupt the march. But the march must remain our goal.
The demons murmur their agreement.
Yertafgryn, you seem quite able to get things done. We are too busy here organising the march and learning all the rules and laws the good wizard keeps telling us about. I am tasking you to organise a defence of the march, so that Efuhofcn and the temple, if they are working together, cannot spoil it for us.
Yertafgryn is taken aback at being given this responsibility, but decides that he's probably the best there is at making sure the job gets done properly, so he agrees.
Very well. I shall undertake this task, with careful consideration. However, I will need about 100 of our best and strongest to form a defensive line to protect the march, and we hide them until we see the enemy strike. If they don't strike, then they can carry on with the march.
Well, That sounds simple enough. Okay, I'll let you and your panda boy organise that. I'm too busy arguing all the time with these demons, talking about us demanding overtime pay, with increases for flexi time, whatever that is, and working showers and access to designated smoking areas, as well as this march route and God knows what else.
Very well. We shall take care of this.
That's excellent. Keep us posted.
Yertafgryn confirms this with a nod, and Pqeddcyg turns back to the other demons.
Right, back to business. Someone had a point to make about the route. What was it?
A demon speaks out.
Yes, that was me. If we march through the park at 1 p.m, I heard that they're feeding the swans on the lake at that time. Seeing that would be lovely.
Yes, it would be quite delightful.
That's another demon.
This is not a day out to look at ducks. We're fighting Satan for our rights,
shouts Pqeddcyg.
Yes, but what about our rights to see swans being fed bits of bread?
He's got a point, Pqeddcyg. Who is to say that his right to look at swans is less of a right than your right to not look at swans? Where's the equality?
Pqeddcyg's head hurts.
Okay, let's put ducks and swans on the list for hell's bell's sake.
Oh no, no ducks please, they're crap. Just swans, thank you.
Pqeddcyg is about to start punching demons, but keeps his cool. Yertafgryn and Dhoiufg walk away. Once they're outside, Dhoiufg asks,
This is a tricky situation, my friend. Potentially fighting both the temple and the other demons will be hard. Do you have a plan for this?
100 demons will protect the march from the temple. However, fighting Efuhofcn and Dhoiufg will be beyond them. But let's not forget, my friend, that I also have retained my powers,
replies Yertafgryn.
Yes, you have, but you're still no match for those two. You'd be outgunned 2-1.
Indeed. But there is a way to defeat them. And I'll need your help to do it.
Dhoiufg nods. Steve bursts through the temple doors. He's heard about the disastrous expedition into the demon zone. The chief exec had been on the phone haranguing him for half an hour about it all. It took all of Steve's immense power of persuasive bullshit to get the chief exec back under control and feeling calm. Now Steve was here at the temple to find out exactly what happened. He walks through the hall past the remnants of chaos. Blood on the floor, bandages strewn around, furniture askew, and some staff busy cleaning things up. His eyes quickly scan around, looking for someone responsible to talk to. He walks into the repository and finds Cheng meditating. He watches him for a second or two before rudely interrupting him.
Cheng.
Startled, Cheng jumps up from his lotus position and instinctively assumes a crane-style kung fu stance. Steve is instantly worried.
Easy there, beardy boy. It's me, Steve. Take a chill pill and relax.
Cheng's eyes squint as they adjust to the lighting, and as he sees Steve, his sense of alarm drops, and he relaxes his defensive stance. He walks over to Steve and shakes his hand.
I assume that you have heard about our ill-fated expedition.
Heard about it? The council chief executive wouldn't shut up about it. He cried hysterically for half an hour. I thought he'd never stop.
Cheng nods solemnly.
So what's the story, O venerable master? How did the legendary temple get its ass kicked so hard?
Cheng strokes his beard before replying.
Inadequate troops, inadequate weapons, inadequate training, inadequate resources, inadequate support, inadequate intel, and barely 1 week's preparation.
Interesting points. Who would you blame for this, Cockwang? Surely.
Cockwang? No, I wasn't thinking of him at all.
Well, I take your points on board and we'll have an investigation to find out who is to blame. Someone here in this organisation obviously isn't performing to the standards we would like. And when we find out whom that person is, we will bounce them out.
Steve leans closer to Cheng before whispering.
Don't get too attached to Cockwang.
Cheng looks at Steve blankly before replying robotically.
Okay, that sounds great, Steve.
So I hear there were a lot of injured recruits?
Yes, the new temple members took a thorough beating. There were many concussions, broken bones and lacerations.
Damn, that sounds terrible.
Steve looks concerned and asks,
Were they all wearing the correct PPE at the time? High visibility jackets, bright orange hard hats?
Yes, they were wearing all that bright shiny gear. We would have preferred some kind of urban camouflage, however.
Camouflage? What if there is a large vehicle reversing? The vehicle wouldn't see them if they were camouflaged. Someone could get killed. Come on, Cheng, think about it.
Yes, of course, Steve.
Well, since they were wearing their PPE, they'll be insured, so we'll look after all of their injured staff. We'll make sure they're financially covered while they recover, and maybe some kind of compensation.
This surprises Cheng immensely.
Really? That's very magnanimous of you.
Thanks, but that's just not the way we operate. We value our staff, and their personal well-being is important to the organisation.
Cheng nods happily.
So, when the staff returned, I'm guessing they brought all their PE and weapons back with them?
Actually, no, they didn't.
What?
They lost pretty much everything in the battle. So we will have to replace all they were equipped with.
Hearing this sounds Steve into an apoplectic rage.
They lost all their PPE and weapons? Do you know how much it will cost to replace everything?
Well, yes, it will cost money, but we value our staff and their well-being.
Sack them, fire them, get rid of the lot of them.
But you just said about looking after the injured staff.
Yeah, the ones who returned with the gear we gave them. Those are the good ones. We look after them. The others need firing. Get rid of them. We don't want people who are incompetent.
Okay, but that means that we will be left with about 5 recruits. 3 of them spent the battle hitting each other with shovels. One was too cowardly to fight, and the last one spent the entire fight on his phone.
As long as they came back with all the gear, then it shows that they have the right attitude we need. You should think about a promotion for them. In the meantime, ring up the agency and get them to send some more staff. There are plenty of people who want a job out there.
Yes, I will. But we don't have a telephone line here. We haven't had one installed yet.
No phone line? That's ridiculous, Jangle. Why haven't you got one?
You said your manager would take care of it for us.
Steve hears this and thinks hard before replying.
I don't remember saying that. But I will get one installed for you. In the meantime, there's nothing stopping you from walking down to the agency and knocking on the door, is there?
No, of course, there isn't.
Concedes Cheng meekly. This episode was brought to you by Cine Downloads, narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Today's episode featured Doug Bradley, George Wilson, Simon Bamford, Y. Wong. Other voices provided by Nathan Noura, Lee Valentine, Kai Bryan, John Ian Dredge, Ben Carroll, Chris Ball Hero, Dan Schreiber, John Mitchell, Lee Norton, John Lee, Roy Westall, Paul Cooper, Sean Gregson. Written, produced, edited and directed by John Mitchell. Co-produced by Chris Ball Hero. Sound recorded by Louis Thompson, Chris Ball Hero. Sound engineer Andrew Doc Collins. Theme tune by Jed Gray. Thank you for listening, and watch out for the next episode of the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.